scenario where we were saying that, okay, there are a lot of opportunities, so without even thinking about the downside, we kind of jump into it.
So actually this company started in US, right?
Yeah.
And so what, there are a lot of people who want to create something new from start, and then everybody says that US is a land of opportunity, and easy access, easy money is there. Is it right? How you can look at it to first funding, or how you approach to them, and what are your experience? Can you share some experience on this?
Sure. So I think from the funding scenario, the most important is like what kind of intellectual property you are generating, because I think that's all about putting the money or staking the money against. So most of the time, if you look at the way the Indian companies are built, and again, I'm not trying to generalize it, but then we are giving more emphasis on the services side of it. Services side doesn't create a niche or doesn't create a differentiation from the others. And then the only differentiation that probably remains is your quality of the service and the cost. But if you're really looking at the product companies, where a lot of funding is available, even in the overseas market, is where you have some intellectual property, you have some different ideas on which you can actually build a product, and that is a place where people will be able to, or people are ready to bet their money on, and then that's where I think even TIE is all about that, because I'm actively involved with TIE in Silicon Valley. So there are people who are actually willing to put money, but provided you have a good differentiation in your idea, you have clarity in how you're going to implement it, you have right people who can do that, and then what's next. I mean, it's like I have a good idea today, so let's start it, and then you may lose that interest down the line. So even the investor would like to know what's your roadmap, how are you going to build it, where are you going to take it, and even for the investor, if I'm going to put like X amount of dollars, what's an exit route for me, and what do I get at the end of an exit? So if an entrepreneur creates this kind of a clarity in his or her thinking, probably I think there are a lot of opportunities, as you are rightly pointing, where people are ready to put the money, especially when people can't put their money in the banks in the United States because you don't get good interest rates on your fixed deposits. Real estate is sinking, and even the stock exchange. So if there are no other avenues for people to kind of multiply their money, getting this kind of the seed funding is the right way to start. There are a lot of different platforms and avenues who can put that kind of money, and then they can help these ideas nurture to the next level and build it to the next level.
You are part of TIE in US as well as you have seen both the worlds, and how that kind of investor friendly atmosphere can be created in this part of the world. Is it anybody working on this for entrepreneurs? How can you?
Yeah, so not to my knowledge, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, you guys are the one who have better pulse of this market from the India perspective. But in terms of investment scenario, I think the venture capital, the word itself, the literal meaning of the word itself, venture, I think is interpreted differently in this country compared to United States. And that makes a big difference, because then you have a conservative way of approaching the venture, which is with ad as a silence, right? I mean, it's a silent letter, like it's an adventure. So if somebody comes to you and they say that, okay, I would like to kind of build a company and put the money in that. I think that there are less number of avenues that are available by the venture capitalists in this country. I don't know about. I just saw about Clarion right now, so I don't know much about that. But I think we require more venture capitalists and more at the seed level. Seed level capital investment is not really, we are talking about a big risk. Even people, would be able to put like $50,000 in that, and $50,000 is not really going to be a big issue for them. And then that may help even some gentlemen who met me just some time back about this Google Apps related things. It could be also an easy way for that person to take off for a while. And then, seed investor can be little patient. He can actually work with that entrepreneur, and then take that venture to a certain level, and then have angel investors coming. They can take that venture to the next level. So you are really not looking at building it to the extremely high level asset. So you are not really looking at taking a very big risk. It is still a calculated risk, but at a certain point of time you are taking like the baby steps to build that. So I think that kind of a mindset, I'm not finding it here. Probably we have venture capital who can put the money, but then that's more like a safe bet that they put the money. They know that There is a clear-cut exit path, there is a clear-cut business revenues, and that is where.
Transparency. I mean, if you look at most of the foreign companies who want to come here, they are afraid of transparency as well as the government changes and policy changes, and they are afraid of putting a lot of money in. They know that Indians are talented, they can do something extraordinary work in this high tech field, in maybe biotechnology or maybe IT or maybe any other technology. But how to change that perception? Do you have anybody working on those kind of things where that the Indian entrepreneurs should come up in that?
Not to my knowledge, maybe I don't have the updated information, but I think the point that I'm trying to make here is that the investors who should invest in the companies, $50,000 kind of the amount is so small even to consider about the government's policies, right? I mean, even if the policy changes, that doesn't make a big difference. But by putting $50,000 in, you are actually creating a small seed getting converted into a small plant, which probably is going to take more years to even come in the radar of government policies as a policies, or even the foreign direct investments for that matter. It's not really going to make difference. Many of the people are putting money even in the real estate in India. They should be encouraged to even go for such kind of the entrepreneurial support who can actually cultivate more and more products. I mean, if an Amazon and Google can get created outside, why not here? I mean, why are we creating all the services company one after another, and then they competing with each other on the hourly rates, and that hourly rate is then become a commodity business, because then you are actually going in a cutthroat market competition with $1 up and down, and you are losing your differentiation. So I think the intellectual property is most important here, and I think we should encourage the youngsters, even right at the college levels, to come up with this kind of the concepts. Show them more dreams. They will be able to come up with ideas. And if there are a portfolio of say maybe 8 or 10 companies need to be funded in 1 year, I think even the entrepreneurs like ourselves who are having the scratches on the back should be able to utilize our experience to help the newer generation.
When you raised this $250,000 in US, that angel investor or VC was a part of your business, or how it went, and what is your experience on that as a first time entrepreneur?
Yeah, so I started with seed funding with a lot of aspirations, a lot of hopes, a lot of dreams to see. So I started with that, and so in 2002 we started. We actually found also a good advisory board to get a good face to the company. We started conceptualizing a product. One of the things that I also emphasize in that company as well as this company is that how do we go for the profitability? I mean, we did not want to just show very good on the PowerPoint presentation, and in reality you are really kind of having only vada pav whole day because you don't have the funds to run it. So instead of that, we were actually keeping the very tighter operations control, and I think that's one of the very good dimension of the way the Indian businesses are built, where there is a very good tighter operational control, and we are not actually spending more as a part of our own upbringing. We don't spend more than what we try to earn, right? So from that perspective, if you are trying to build a company, I mean, the way we are built was we got our first customer, a paid customer, in around 7-8 months of time, who was ready for the beta testing, and then was ready.
Was that before you getting a VC or after you get?
So I started with the seed investors as with $250,000, and then in around 9 or 10 months of time, we went with the angel round of funding. So Silicon Valley angel round of funding, as well as there are a few people from the Hawaii investor group, they invested in the company. And then once we got that as a second round of funding, then we went to the third round of funding. That was again not a VC. And again, by VC is always the quantum of funds are very high when you are talking about a VC, whereas the seed investors are talking about only $50,000, $100,000, maybe less than $250,000, and then you are going to have angel investors who are probably not going to have more than $1 million, and then you have VCs who are not going to be talking any investment lesser than $3 million. So they're like all 3 million and above kind of the people. So as a VC, I got I crossed my roads with that kind of animal in 2006 when my company was 3 years old. We had also acquired 2 companies. We have merged that. We have created a bigger portfolio, and so in 2006 we got that venture capitalist on the board, and that's how we kept on growing the company.
For our younger entrepreneurs, can you share what was your business idea, what your products are, and how you are growing, what success you achieved in US, and then why you shifted from US to India, and why India story? Is it a cost benefit, or is it new something you want to create in India, or what exactly pulled you back in India?
So probably, two questions. I'll just split it one. So one, I think what you're trying to understand is